All right, at this moment, I would like to call on the National Assembly. Please say here if you are present.
Here.
Here.
Thank you very much. The first proposal I shall make today is to form the territory of Normdu. It is a small sliver of land near Mount Magnet along the Great Northern Highway in Australia. I've already made a flag for the territory, and a coat of arms will be made soon. If this passes, the territory shall form on the 15th of January 2021 at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We can discuss the proposal first. If not, we can immediately begin voting. And one more thing, this shall be known as, please give me a moment. I apologize. This resolution shall be known as National Assembly Resolution 9. If you'd like to discuss, please go ahead.
Well, Your Majesty, may I please have the floor?
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to ask you, Your Majesty, this new territory, if I'm correct, who will be leading this territory?
Territories do not have leaders. But if
Well, how can we maintain the claim?
it is governed directly by me, but the reason I'm claiming is because we have the, I don't know what a good word for me to use here is, but we have the permission, for lack of a better word for me to think of right now, from Daniel Roscoe of Australis.
That's not answering my question, Your Majesty. My question is, how are we going to maintain such land?
I will govern it directly. That's what I do with all my territories.
Your Majesty, you cannot govern it directly. You are not in Australia.
Oh, well, I'm not in Antarctica or Rhode Island, but I still govern those territories.
That's also a very good question. Why are we having things that we cannot govern?
Well, what we do is with our territories is, with the exception of Denesia, with our territories, as long as we have somebody who lives near the physical end of the territory, we claim it, and I rule it directly. With territories, nobody lives in them, and we have the counties, territories, and the dominions. With the dominions and counties, those actually have laws passed in them and actually have leaders and actually have government. Territories are more or less just something we claim. It's kind of similar to federal land in the United States, I'd say.
I'd say you're 100% incorrect.
Well,
you're claiming you say that you can maintain the land, that you are directly governing it, though you have no governance.
Well, what do you mean?
No power.
What do you mean by maintain?
Maintain means actually control. See,
yes.
Your power comes from the perception of your power. Literally, you have no power in this land.
All right. Okay. Please give me a minute.
My question is, what is the point of having territories if we cannot control them?
Well, there's not much of a point, I'd say. It's just really to claim it. I mean, this might sound, I guess, unprofessional, but a lot of the land I claim, such as Denesia or Caprish, South Africa, and this territory, are more or less just out of interest in these territories, and after all, we are an empire. Not so much of an empire. But we're still going to lay claim to these territories. There's not much use in them, but I'd still like to.
Here's the difference. The difference is, for example, Caprish, South Africa has governance. It can be maintained. We have someone who's controlling it. All these other things is nothing. There's literally no point for having them. I'm not saying that we should get rid of all territories. No point in creating territories if we do not have an official from the government who's involved, who's actually maintaining the land for us, or else it's complete, utter nonsense.
Well, for one, I would like to remind the gentleman from New Pecos to please not raise his voice during this meeting. Second off, like I said, I myself can maintain the territories. There's not much governance, and yes, I do agree there's not much of a point of claiming new territories, but we've already done it, and I don't see any negatives to claiming the new territories.
Well, then I'm sure that everyone else can agree with me that's a stupid idea and that we shall not be doing it. I rest my case.
I would like to remind the gentleman from Earnhardt again that he has just used a very inappropriate word for this assembly, and I would like if you refrain from using such language.
I correct you, Your Majesty. It's New Pecos.
Governor Kohler, do you have anything to say?
I believe in the notion of professionalism, and I do not believe that a land claim in Australia, in which we cannot officially govern, besides the explicit permission of a 13-year-old boy in Australia, helps this nation. I also agree with the representative of New Pecos in the sense that this nation needs to be the frontier of professionalism as it hasn't been for the many years it's been alive. I believe claiming this is a dumb and stupid idea, and I will retain my position. And that's it.
All right, I would also like to remind the gentleman from Earnhardt the word he has just used. I've also reminded the gentleman from New Pecos not to use. I would prefer if you refrain from using such language. So, is there anything else to be said, or can we continue to vote? All right, well, we can continue on to voting. I would like to call. What is the vote of the gentleman from New Pecos?
Nay.
All right. And what is the vote of the gentleman from Earnhardt?
Abstain.
Abstain. Well, I would vote aye, but there would still be a three-way tie there. At this moment, I will put away National Assembly Resolution 9 for further discussion at a later date. If anybody else has any motions to propose, please inform me. Governor McGrath, Governor Kohler, do you have anything to propose to the Assembly?
I would like to make a point of order.
Please continue.
As acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have reached out to Kappenberg possible allies such as Australasia, and they have gotten back to me regarding relations. Again, they are still on hold as they are concerned with your etiquette and past experience with Paloma and Australia, and I'm making sure that I efficiently get it resolved as fast as I can. Along with this, I would like to present the resolution of reaching out to Adamia and possibly Australis regarding formal relations.
All right. I will quickly note that. Please give me a moment. So your two resolutions, I have numbered National Assembly Resolution 10 and 11. 10 is on Adamia and 11 is on Australis. Is that all you have to say for these resolutions, or is there any more you'd like to propose?
That is all for this resolution. I would like to propose one more resolution after.
All right. Hold on a moment, please. So is reaching out to Adamia and Australis both as one resolution?
We can make them separate if we must.
It's up to you.
I'd like them to be separate. Thank you.
All right. And then your third resolution you like to propose?
Replacing the national currency with tacos.
I'm going to have to immediately veto that, and I'd like to remind the gentleman from Earnhardt to... Governor... Order! Order! I would like to remind the gentleman from New Pecos and the gentleman from Earnhardt to please refrain from making any unnecessary noises that is highly inappropriate in this assembly. Am I clear?
Yes.
Thank you.
No.
Excuse me.
You're excused.
At this moment, I will temporarily mute the microphone of the gentleman from New Pecos. All right. So I will... apologies for that. So National Assembly Resolution 12. Oh, okay. That was... So is that all you have to propose seriously, Governor Kohler?
I believe that the Mexican dish containing a fried tortilla that is folded is very important.
Please, give me a moment to speak. I'd like to remind the gentleman from Earnhardt that that is not a matter of the National Assembly.
I understand.
I request that you please cease and desist from making such requests.
Very well. Can we please move to a vote regarding the other two resolutions I have?
In a moment, I will now unmute the gentleman from New Pecos. Hello, Governor McGrath, are you there? Governor McGrath. I'd like to remind the gentleman from New Pecos to please stop making these noises. If he does not stop, his vote will not be counted. Am I clear?
You're making a complete mockery of my job.
You're the one who's screaming. Am I clear that if you continue screaming, your vote will not be counted?
You just.
I would like to remind the gentleman from Earnhardt.
You just denied an opportunity.
Order.
To let talk.
Order in this assembly. Order. Governor McGrath. Governor McGrath. Governor Kohler. This is order. Order.
This is outrageous.
This is not. This is not.
Bullocks.
This is not behavior that is fit for the National Assembly. Am I clear? One more time and this meeting shall be adjourned.
You're making a mockery of me.
Governor Kohler, I'm going to mute the microphone of the gentleman from Earnhardt. Governor McGrath, we are on our last straw. If you continue to scream or continue to make any more pedantic resolutions, you will be removed from the National Assembly and this meeting shall be adjourned. Am I clear?
Yes.
Thank you. I will now unmute the microphone of the gentleman from Earnhardt. Governor Kohler, did you hear what I was telling to Governor McGrath?
Yes, and I have calmed down.
Am I clear?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, with that said, are we able to move on to voting for National Assembly Resolution 10 and 11?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So, National Assembly Resolution 10 is having the acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, Cameron Kohler, reaching out to the Empire of Adamia for foreign relations. Governor McGrath, I would request your vote.
A.
Governor Kohler, I would also request your vote.
A.
Motion passes. We will now begin voting on National Assembly Resolution 11, unless anyone has anything to say about it.
Nay.
All right. National Assembly Resolution 11 is reaching out to Australis for foreign affairs. Governor McGrath, your vote.
A.
Governor Kohler, your vote.
A.
Motion passes. If anybody has any more resolutions to bring up with this assembly, please let me know, or else we can adjourn the meeting.
I have a few resolutions, sir.
Please continue.
The first resolution, I would like to. One, can I please be referred to the laws on cannabis?
Cannabis. It is legal to anybody over 21 years of age, I believe. If you'd like me to get the exact number, I can get that for you now.
Please.
All right, please give me a moment while I search through some Caprish legislation here. Let me find it. I know I have it. All right, here it is. The restrictions on age-induced activities. Article 2. For a Caprish citizen to use any paraphernalia, they must be at least 25 years of age.
All right. I would like to make a resolution specifically banning the use of marijuana without medical purposes.
All right. Please give me a moment to note that. Does anybody have anything to discuss on National Assembly Resolution 12 before we vote on it?
I would like to make a point of order.
Please continue.
Marijuana, or otherwise known as cannabis in this case, is a very serious drug and that can be very bad if used long term, and I believe fully banning the usage of it inside the Empire is a very smart and decisive move to continue the platform of the Exemplary Party. Arrest.
All right. Does anyone else have anything else to say on it?
I would like to say I concur with the honorable gentleman.
All right, thank you. If now, I believe we can now move to voting. Governor McGrath, your vote.
A.
Governor Kohler, your vote. Motion passes. Now, does anyone have any more resolutions or anything else they'd like to bring up with the Assembly?
I said I had a couple.
All right, please continue.
My next motion is to. I'd like to ask you also. Does Kappenberg currently have? How can I word this? Let me think for a second.
And while you're thinking, I'd like to take a moment to document what has happened so far in this meeting real quick for future purposes. Governor McGrath, I'm ready if you are.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
So I would like to propose a motion naming Natalie Creek, the portion of Natalie Creek that is inside Kappenberg, of course, under a new name, possibly named after one of the royal family members.
All right, at first, I'd like to request what is the purpose of this?
Merely no purpose. More of a more self identity, more kind of like a promotion to the empire.
I'd like to make a
Inside
point
the
of order.
empire.
Please hold on for a moment, Governor Kohler. I'd like to comment. I believe when Kappenberg was still a federation, it was named Morris Creek. Sadly, I see no point in renaming Natalie Creek other than for making it slightly more confusing on outsiders. At this moment, I will have to respectfully veto National Assembly Resolution 13 to rename Natalie Creek.
My point of
May I
order goes
propose-
unnoticed.
Governor McGrath, please hold on for a moment. I would like to give the gentleman from Earnhardt the floor. Please go ahead, Governor Kohler.
Regarding Natalie Creek's name, I was going to make a point of order, believing that A, representing the royal family in territory is a very smart and decisive way to represent the monarchy in which this nation is founded upon. But as you have vetoed it, my point of order goes unnoticed. Disregarding that, I would like to make a resolution regarding the COVID-19 virus.
All right, first off, I will give the gentleman from New Pecos the floor first because he has requested first. Governor McGrath, please proceed.
Mr. Kohler may go first.
All right, Governor Kohler, you have the floor.
As we are in 1 year of the COVID-19 virus being found back in December 2019, Kappenberg currently has no legislation protecting the citizens from the virus, nor has restrictions as far as I can tell. I propose that the National Assembly drafts a COVID-19 Act protecting the citizens, restricting their access and movement, and more. I rest.
I would like to inform you, although I have never really announced this, which is partially my fault, I'd like to inform you that since we are located in the state of Illinois, in the macro nation of the United States, we just currently follow Illinois guidelines as I see those as sufficient for containing the virus. So at this moment, I will respectfully veto National Assembly Resolution 14.
Yay!
I'd like to make another point of order.
All right, please hold on for a moment. I would like to remind the gentleman from New Pecos not to make any unnecessary noises. We've already had this discussion. Governor Kohler, please proceed.
Having our own legislation differs us from the macronation of the United States of America and the state of Illinois inside said macronation. I believe that in pursuant to develop this country and develop the progress and usage of the National Assembly, that my act goes unvetoed and proposed.
I apologize, but I'll have to respectfully veto that yet again, due to, again, I believe the laws and regulations in place in Illinois are sufficient enough.
Rest.
All right, thank you. Governor McGrath, I believe you had a resolution?
Yes, I'd like to make a National Security Act. Well, not a National Security Act, but more of a Freedom of Information Act.
Perfect. All right, let me document that.
Would you like me to explain myself?
Yes, if you could go in depth a bit more, please. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, so I would like to have a I just forgot what I was gonna say. I'm sorry.
All right, take your time.
What was it called? What was the name of the act? I'm sorry.
The Freedom of Information Act?
Freedom of Information. Thank you.
Yes.
I would like to have a Freedom of Information Act in place so that sensitive information that may happen in the near future may not be released. And I think that we should regulate our information and government documents under a certain level of class clearance, going from A to B, or well, not A to B, but A to whatever letter is the most lowest of levels of classification. And the levels will rank from the lowest being anyone can view it without request, and going up the ladder to only certain people can view it, and up to His Majesty or the Prime Minister.
Mhm. I have a couple of comments on that. First off, by what did you say, the class of viewing or whatever it was?
Yes.
Something about that. Caberberg does not currently have anything like that, and I'm not sure if we should really arrange something like that. Second off, as you guys may know me, I run the Monarchist Libertarian Party. I agree in keeping libertarian values. One of my values, I'd say, as a libertarian, is government transparency. I've practically
Well, if
released.
you'd let me finish.
All right. Please. I will yield to you in a moment. Currently, we practically release every Caprish document for viewing, which I do not see a reason any of our current documents to be hidden from the public. But you can continue, sir. I yield you some time.
The point is, it wouldn't be a Freedom of Information Act if it didn't have actually freedom of information in effect. The point is that after a certain period of time, it would get publicly available depending on what it was about, and within a certain span of time depending on what class it was. You may believe in being transparent, but I can assure you that every government in the world does the same exact thing.
Yes, and I do understand that every government does that, but then I'd have to say that's something every government does wrong, in my opinion. Governor Kohler, do you have any word on this?
I would like
Yes,
to
Please hold
speak
on
after
for a
Kohler.
moment. All right, I yield to Governor Kohler.
Yes, I wrote a Class of Information Act in Paloma, as I am one of the only Paloman legislation writers, and I believe that in due process, protecting important documents regarding this country is very important, such as the protection of citizens' information, such as the Caprish identification
Oh yeah,
numbers,
something like that,
all of
definitely.
that. And I believe that if this act properly uses the system and that it can enforce them in a correct and proper manner, that it is a fully and well thought out resolution. I rest.
All right, thank you. Well, we can hold off on this resolution for the moment being. If any of you can write an exact bill or act, I would gladly read it, and we can vote on it by our next meeting. Does anybody else have? So at this moment, I will write that we will hold off until the next meeting.
Make another point of order regarding the Information Act.
All right, continue, Governor Kohler.
I'm willing to draft up the act with Governor McGrath in our own time, and we will ensure that it represents everyone fairly regarding the citizens and the monarchy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else have any resolutions to propose at this time?
I would like to make a point of order.
Please continue, Mr. Grath.
On the resolution regarding the freedom of information, me and Mr. Kohler will promise to write it fairly and wisely.
All right, thank you very much. Does anybody else have any more resolutions or anything else to be known to the Assembly?
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to make. Oh, please go ahead, Mr. McGrath.
Governor McGrath, I yield to you.
I would like to make a system relating to licenses of ownership of certain things.
Okay, can you please go ahead?
I know that this is a factual law in many states, but it is actually a crime in some states for men to have mustaches without a license.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying
I would like to make it where, and you can call it dumb, and you can call it stupid, but the point of being a nation is making laws. So I feel like this is a great example, especially with plenty of other macronational governments who have made ridiculous laws, from owning crocodiles to women cannot go out in public without being shaven.
Governor McGrath, are there any specific examples you'd like to request? Maybe, for what I'm thinking about this is maybe we could put it off for the next meeting and write a bill for this to set out exact what you need licenses for. Can you have any specific examples at the moment?
Beards. You can never trust a man with a beard.
Yes, I highly disagree. I'd have to say, quite frankly, that that's outrageous. Governor Kohler, do you have any word on this matter?
I have no word on this matter, but I would like to propose 2 resolutions
Alright.
after. Thank you.
Please hold on a moment. Governor McGrath, I will have to respectfully veto that resolution.
Ah!
Governor McGrath, we've already talked about this. Please refrain from making loud, inappropriate noises in this assembly. Governor Kohler, I yield to you.
I would like to propose 2 acts regarding this nation, and my first act will be named the Cheap Beer Act 2021.
Governor McGrath, I'd like to remind the gentleman from New Pecos that I request that he ceases laughing. It's inappropriate for this assembly. Governor Kohler, I yield back to you.
Please give me a moment. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
The Cheap Beer Act 2021 would regard the sale of any beer or similar alcoholic beverage for a price higher than 250 Caprish dollars being prohibited within the empire. I can write the full act explaining what this does, along with VAT tax, low alcohol beer, and others regarding fermented alcoholic drinks, low alcohol, and anything else that you need clarification on. Thank you.
All right, sir. One thing I'd like to comment on that is currently the Caprish dollar has no actual value. It's not traded anywhere. Although I have made plans before to begin trading it, I have yet to begin. So at this moment, I disagree with us using the currency of Caprish dollars, and if anything, I disagree with using the Caprish dollar in any document later on, as I would say the Caprish dollar is more or less a de facto currency, and we just de jure use the United States dollar.
I'd like to make another point of order.
Please continue.
I made a document regarding the Caprish dollar I believe, a year or 2 ago when you were still a technical kingdom, and I wrote it regarding the Caprish dollar and its usage. Currently, the Caprish dollar is pegged to 2 US cents, and regarding the beer, $5 in the US would equivalent to 250 Caprish dollars. Again, I am using Caprish dollars here because they are very important and essential to our culture as a micronation. Thank you.
Well, I would prefer that you use U.S. dollars, as if I do begin trading Caprish dollars soon, the value can change very quickly. When
I'd like to make a point of order.
Please hold on for a moment, Governor McGrath. When we pegged the Caprish dollar to the United States dollar for 2 cents, I made that when I pretty much knew nothing about an actual economy. So I would like to hold off on that for an undecided date. If you'd like to bring it back up, we can bring it back up. So I will have to respectfully decline that resolution for now, and we can bring it up at a later date. And I believe, before Governor McGrath goes, I believe the gentleman from Earnhardt had a second resolution.
I had a second resolution regarding animal rights in the kingdom.
Please continue.
In this act, an animal would refer to a vertebrate other than a man or a woman, and nothing in the act would apply to an animal while it's in a embryonic form. It would protect the rights of the animal while protecting it from suffering and other acts of heinous crimes. I can write a whole bill for it if you must, but yeah, I believe it's a very important and essential to the animals and people who
Yes.
live in the empire. Thank you. I rest.
I would prefer that you write a complete bill for that. If we can, I would also like to decline that one. We can bring up at a later time, most likely next week if we can. I thank you for the time, though. So if you can, please write a bill for that. And if you'd like me to, I can actually send you what I need a bill written for. So let me just document this.
Very well. I rest.
I'd like to ask, did the gentleman from New Pecos have anything to say?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a resolution proposed, or what do you have here, sir?
It's more of a comment.
All right. Please continue.
You say that you do not want to use the Caprish dollar in any legislation. and you prefer it being used the U.S. dollar, and that brings up the question: what is the point of the Caprish dollar if we're not even going to use it?
Well, it's more or less a de facto currency, and what I plan to do as soon as I can is begin trading the Caprish dollar for goods with other people, and with this, I don't know how I'd exactly be able to get an exact exchange rate, and the Caprish dollar won't exactly be used at all outside of trading, I guess, my friends or other people close to me for goods. So I believe it's best to just use the US dollar in legislation. And again, the Caprish dollar is more of a de facto currency, while the US dollar is more of a de jure currency. Do you have anything else to add on to that, Governor McGrath?
No.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else have any more resolutions they'd like to propose to the Assembly? Or any more comments?
No.
Governor McGrath, do you have anything?
Nay.
All right. At this moment, I shall adjourn this meeting of the National Assembly on the 14th day of January in the year 2021. Thank you.